In the early 70s, William Friedkin emerged as one of the leading new Hollywood talents, standing head and shoulders with directors such as Coppola, Scorsese, and Steven Spielberg. His name may not have had the same longevity as his contemporaries, but his early work definitely has. He will forever be remembered for two iconic American films that changed the crime and horror genres forever: The French Connection and The Exorcist. Though he never reached the same level of acclaim for the rest of his work, Friedkin has worked tirelessly across many genres, pushing boundaries and creating provocative films in his own intense and energetic style. Released in 1985, Friedkin's To Live and Die in LA received a lukewarm reception at the time, dismissed by many as a Miami Vice ripoff or a vain attempt to recreate the magic of The French Connection by relocating the story to the West Coast. He would forever be in the shadow of his early masterpieces, but I would argue that To Live and Die in LA is more than a retread.
Have you ever been in Poughkeepsie? You've been in Poughkeepsie, haven't you? I want to hear it! Come on!
Yes, I've
You've been there, right?
Yeah.
You sat on the edge of the bed, didn't you? You took off your shoes, put your finger between your toes, and picked your feet, didn't you? Now say it!
Yes!
All right.
You put a shield in my partner.
You know what that means? God damn it! All winter long, I gotta listen to him gripe about his bowling scores. Now, I'm gonna bust your ass for those 3 bags, and I'm gonna nail you for picking your feet in Poughkeepsie.
At the time of its release, audiences were excited by the immoral ways in which the police were depicted in The French Connection. The film was shot in a gritty documentary style, and Popeye Doyle, played by Gene Hackman, is a tough, unlikable character with very little obvious heroic attributes. He could easily pass for a criminal. The only thing that marks him as the good guy is his badge. The rest of his behaviour is questionable. Audiences at the time were shocked to see a police officer act so dishonourably and shoot someone, even a criminal, in the back. To Live and Die in LA might follow the same template as The French Connection, with its relentless pursuit of criminals, cops bending the rules, and even an epic car chase. But in many ways, if we look closer, To Live and Die in LA goes deeper beneath the surface and the tropes to really explore the true depths of corruption. To Live and Die in LA tells the story of Richard Chance, played by William Peterson, a Secret Service agent hell-bent on capturing a money counterfeiter called Eric Masters, played by Willem Dafoe. Chance picks up the case after his previous partner was killed in pursuit of Masters. This personal hunger for revenge pushes Chance to bend the rules and even break them in order to catch Masters, which again places him in a similar mould to Popeye Doyle. Along for the ride, Chance is given a new partner, the honest and squeaky clean Vukovic, played by John Pankow.
Now you need a partner.
Let me tell you something, amigo. I'm gonna bag Masters and I don't give a shit how I do it.
William Friedkin is a director renowned for his efforts to bring authenticity and detail to his films. On The French Connection, he had real police officers as technical advisors. The minor medical scene in The Exorcist was performed by actual surgeons, and while making the controversial Cruising, Friedkin frequented gay leather bars wearing only a jockstrap to research the gay scene in 80s New York. And when filming the unforgettable car chase for The French Connection, he famously commanded his stunt driver to give him the REAL on the REEL, the real on the real. In To Live and Die in LA, we see the same commitment to authenticity. It's based on the real-life experiences of a Secret Service agent who also wrote the screenplay and advised on the film. But also, Friedkin drafted in 2 ex-cons who were convicted for money counterfeiting to advise on the technical aspects of creating fake money. The scene we're shown in meticulous detail to the pumping sounds of Wang Chung, who scored the movie. Beyond the realism, To Live and Die in LA is a lot more concerned with something more spiritual. It's not a stroke of luck that our main character is called Chance. This is a man who gambles with life and death in order to succeed. His desire for trying his luck becomes more and more self-destructive. In an early scene, we see that he's a thrill seeker who enjoys base jumping. This shows us his reckless nature. He chases death. He doesn't fear it. Everyone else wants to live and survive. He seems like the only character who wants to die. As the story unfolds, we see that Chance is running out of luck, and the case is quickly becoming jeopardized. Towards the end, Chance thinks his luck is about to change as they finally manage to trap Masters in a sting. The audience is given a shock when Chance is brutally killed and Masters gets away. Ironically, death finds Chance when he stops chasing it. Chance's death is a fascinating revelation. It reframes the story and makes us realize that although Chance is central to the plot, he's not the heart of the story underneath. In the closing moments, it's Vukovic who becomes our hero and stops Masters. The whole time, we've been watching his descent into corruption, and mainly, it's instigated by Chance.
I told you that I was gonna get Masters and I didn't give a shit how I did it.
What, so now you want to commit a robbery?
I wouldn't call it that.
What would you call it?
Taking down a douchebag who's trying to break the law.
If it turns to shit?
You say fuck it, walk away.
Throughout the film, Chance is repeatedly seen in silhouette and obscured by shadows. This portrays his moral ambiguity and his dark, destructive nature. We see this in particular when he's with his informant and lover, Ruth, portraying the complexity of their relationship and the way he exploits her for inside information. It shows that Chance is devoid of emotion or conscience. He has completely blurred the lines of right and wrong. He lives in the shadows.
What would you do if I stopped giving you information?
What?
I'd just like to know.
I'd have your parole revoked.
When he's partnered with Vukovic, Chance is like the devil on his shoulder, constantly trying to pull him into bending the law and even breaking it in order for them to catch Masters. The two are opposites. Even their costuming distinguishes them. When Chance and Vukovic first meet, Vukovic is a typical agent dressed in a suit, whereas Chance usually wears more casual attire, and in one shot, just to underline the point, Chance is wearing a black jacket, and Vukovic wears a white one. One represents darkness, and the other, light. From the beginning, Vukovic is portrayed as a symbol of purity and good. He mentions that he's from a family of cops, and it's clear that he is driven by upholding the law in an honest way.
He's got no names, but he's got amounts, initials. Look at this. RM, every other page.
It's a crime scene, buddy. The book is evidence. What if the cop remembers it's missing?
Shit, that rookie couldn't remember what he saw. He wasn't in there long enough.
You shouldn't have done it.
What are you trying to tell me, amigo? Of course, if you feel strongly about it, I'll take it back right now and
That's
hand
not
it
what
over.
I'm saying, okay? It's not what I'm saying at all.
In a key turning point, in order to arrest Masters, Chance and Vukovic need to put up $50,000 in order to get Masters to make the counterfeit money. When their superiors refuse to help, Chance follows a tip from Ruth, his informant, that a criminal will be in town with a suitcase full of cash. Chance plans to steal this money, and he finally wears down Vukovic, and thus begins his corruption, depicted by the film's most notable set piece.
You killed him.
On a superficial level, the epic car chase in To Live and Die in LA might look like Friedkin competing with his own legacy and trying to outdo himself. There's definitely an element of that. The car chase is relentless and adrenaline-fueled, as you would expect. In fact, it's so audacious that just when you think it's over,
We made it, baby!
the chase resumes and ups the ante by having Chance drive in the opposite direction against traffic. We are not just witnessing spectacle, as we did with the French Connection. There's more going on here. We're witnessing Vukovic's journey into darkness. The car chase is an inversion of what we're used to seeing. Usually, the cops chase the criminals. In this case, the criminals are chasing the cops, who are now criminals. As the chase begins, we're brought into Vukovic's mindset, and as they flee for their lives, he's in a constant state of fear of his transition into corruption. As the car races through roads and tunnels, Vukovic is pulled into shadows and darkness, and he's reborn as the sun sets on the old Vukovic, and he transforms against his will, kicking and screaming into a new, corrupt character. In subsequent scenes, he's now riddled with guilt, and we see him drenched in hellish red light as he battles his conscience and struggles to do the right thing by standing with Chance, his corruptor.
Just like we planned, amigo.
In the final act, following the sudden death of Chance, Vukovic has to embrace the darkness in order to capture Masters, and in the violent finale, he enters Masters' burning studio, which now resembles a hellish inferno. Friedkin directs this section like a horror film and adds a dark energy to the scene, much like he did in The Exorcist. Vukovic is again bathed in red light. He becomes a bringer of death and kills Masters. The darkness overwhelms him so much that he doesn't stop pulling the trigger, even when he's out of bullets. In the closing scene, we see a figure approach Ruth's house. As he draws closer, we realise it's Vukovic, decked out in black. We almost mistake him for Chance. When we see his face, he's tougher, colder, and when Ruth tries to plead with him, he simply looks at her, and without conscience says, "You're working for me now." She looks at him, and sees Chance. His transformation and corruption is complete. So that's my take on To Live and Die in LA. And for more videos, please show your support by hitting subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.